Some thoughts for today, Easter Day. First, I'd like to introduce you to a piece of bone china. Now, if you flew with Pan Am, at one time the world's premier airline, then this is what you would have used to drink your after-dinner coffee. Now, on December the 21st, 1988, a cup exactly like this one began its journey from Heathrow to New York. It climbed to around 30,000 feet, where at around 7 o'clock in the evening, a massive explosion blew Flight 103 out of the sky. A cup like this one landed on the golf course outside Lockerbie absolutely intact, not a mark or a crack. I was the anchoring chaplain at Heathrow at the time, and it was a life-changing event for me. Just after Christmas, I knew I needed to go to Lockerbie myself. Both British Airways and British Midland said they would fly me up any time. I took them up on their offer. A huge hall in Lockerbie had been set aside for the various agencies, from police to aviation authorities and of course Pan Am. At a table, displaying the airline's logo, was a member of staff from Heathrow's Terminal 3. We greeted each other amid lots of tears, and she showed me the cup. "What do you think?" she asked me. I picked it up and remarked how elegant, how stylish it was. Then she told me its story, how it took off from Heathrow until over Lockerbie it was blown out of the sky, landing intact. Yet, she said, the friend of mine who was going to serve it to her passengers also took off from Heathrow, where over Lockerbie she too was blown out of the sky. But unlike this piece of bone china, she was broken, shattered, and gone forever. She paused for a moment and then said, "Sometimes we believe we are so strong, and yet we are more fragile than this piece of bone china." I have never forgotten her words, her emotion, and how this piece of bone china held so many feelings and memories for her, almost as if it had taken on a sacred symbolism. I guess we can all remember feeling when we were young, we were invincible. We can do anything and everything, and that is right, and that is how it should be. In the world of music, do you remember Freddie Mercury, the lead singer of Queen? Such a powerful performer and seemingly invincible as the music played behind him, yet also so very fragile, as his premature death showed. A week ago, the disciples came into Jerusalem with Jesus on the crest of a wave, feeling so good. A few days later, all so different. Their hopes, now so fragile, are nailed on a cross, unlocked in a deathly dark tomb. The background music to their lives, once so empowering and hopeful, had become a hopeless, dismal dirge. To begin with, the disciples did not have a clue what was going on. They fled, they hid, they were terrified. So this morning's event was not enough for them. It took time for its meaning to sink in, for the resurrection to become a part of their lives. Eventually, despite their fragility, they began to live their lives, recognizing there was hope beyond despair. There was love beyond hate. There was life beyond death. They began to see Jesus as not changing the circumstances, but changing the person within those circumstances. They were able to live a risen life. In the dark, they were able to bring a new way of living that began to enthuse, encourage, and energize those around them, no longer imprisoned by their situation. The new energy became the background of the disciples' daily lives. It gave them the strength to live out the love of Jesus. They were still aware of their fragility. For Peter, it must have been ever present. Whenever he heard a cock crow, it must have reminded him of his denial of Jesus. But they knew there was more than denial. their despair, their desertion, their desperation. That there was a new life to live because of an empty tomb and a risen Jesus. We are fragile. Handle with care, handle with prayer. Keep well, keep safe, and God bless. So now for something completely different. On Friday, we finished with that amazing choir, singing perhaps for me the greatest religious words to the greatest religious tune. Listen again to that last verse of When I Survey the Wondrous Cross. Beyond amazing, so beautiful. Well, today, here comes something slightly different. For all of us, singer-songwriters and their music have a unique way of connecting with us, expressing unspoken thoughts and emotions and making us feel, making us say, yeah, that's how it is, that's it, that's my song. One such for me is Bruce Springsteen. Another is Bono of U2. But for me, Bruce is the guy. After the events of 9/11, Bruce writes from his book these words, and I quote, "I sat for a while, alone, that September empty beach beneath the eerie quiet of silent skies. We live along a very busy air corridor. Planes are constantly flying just off the eastern seaboard on their way to Kennedy and Newark airports. And the low buzz of airplane engines is as much a part of the sound tapestry at the shore as are the gently crashing waves. Not today. All air traffic grounded. A deadly, on-the-beach, science fiction-like quiet unfolded over the sand. After a short while, I headed home to join Patty and pick up our children from school. As I drove over the gravel of the beach club parking lot, I hesitated before pulling into traffic on Ocean Boulevard. Just then a car, careening off Runsonsea Bright Bridge, shot past, its window down, and its driver, recognizing me, shouted, "Bruce, we need you." I sort of knew what he meant. But the driver wanted Springsteen and his music to express their feelings, to try and make sense of them, to give some hope, some light, some way of being able to move beyond those horrific events and forward to a new future. This song, My City of Ruins, Bruce wrote before 9/11 about his home in Asbury Park, a city run down, young men not working, but standing on street corners, empty churches, empty streets, empty lives, empty hearts. Then comes the plea within the song, come on, rise up, rise up. The gospel chorus sings, give us your strength, Lord, give us your faith, Lord, give us your love, Lord. Come on, rise up, rock on.